The prejudging of the 2025 Prague Pro wrapped up yesterday evening, and your front runners in the top 5 first call-out are Michal Krizo, John Pradels Martinez, Martin Fitzwater, Samson Dauda and Keone Pearson. Michal and John surprised a lot of people by actually coming in way better than expected. I believe they are in the running for a top 3. Keone Pearson apparently is expected to be 5th place after always being on that side for every first call-out round, so probably disappointing for some people. Battling to win this year's Prague Pro are Martin Fitzwater and Samson Dauda. That's your locked top 2 right there, and it's close. Martin, the defending champion after all, came in at this year's Prague Pro in probably his best shape of all time. Better than his 2024 or 2025 Olympia physiques. As for Samson Dauda, I believe this is his best look he's had in 2025, better than at the Arnold and definitely improved from the Olympia. I was very pleasantly surprised by his conditioning. This is arguably the driest ever version of Samson. The only thing keeping him from running away with this title is the size of his legs. His legs seem to have lost a lot of size this Olympia prep and he couldn't bring them up in time for Prague. It's a disadvantage against Martin, who has some of the best quads in bodybuilding today. However, given Samson's overall incredible qualities and the fact that this might be his most polished version yet, this is truly very close. So next, I want to focus on the matchup between the two of them in all the mandatories to see if we can declare a winner for the prejudging. Front double biceps, and both are looking incredible here. We all know Samson's incredible qualities already, and Martin is just such a great surprise. As I see things right here, I believe Samson wins the upper body and Martin wins the lower body. Overall, Samson has the better flow, of course. He has better proportions and a bigger stature, but Martin has the conditioning still, even though Samson is also dry. This pose is not very decisive, but for the fact that Samson has improved since the Olympia and also because it's an improvement overall in conditioning, I think the judges will prefer him in this pose. As for my personal opinion, I don't know. Usually I go with the more conditioned guy when it's close, in our case that guy being Martin, but I don't think this picture does Samson justice necessarily. I think both of them could win this pose. Front lat spread is next, and this one is a little bit easier, as is Martin's weakest pose, obviously because of his frame, him having a narrower structure, but also because his lats, which are the focal muscle group in this pose, are one of his biggest weaknesses still. He really needs to work on that lat width, which is an issue for him both from the front and, as we're going to see later, from the back as well. Samson, on the other hand, has the perfect structure for this pose. Wide shoulders, small waist, longer limbs, and he also has the better lats. He's got the better chest as well, but I've got to mention I dislike his pointy shoulders. It won't do too much because Samson won't lose this pose to Martin. The side chest is a very strong pose for both of them. Both are round and peeled, but there's a considerable difference in overall size and thickness in favor of your 2024 Mr. Olympia winner. He came back after the modest Olympia this year and reclaimed this pose as his best personal pose, and the best side chest in the world as it seems. His lower body from the side has never looked this crisp, at least not from what I remember, and his upper body is just wow. He's got probably the biggest chest since Arnold himself, and his arms and shoulders complete a very powerful side chest pose. Now Martin is still crispier overall. I wouldn't expect anything else from him. However, even though personally I insist on conditioning, usually this is not a conditioning show only. I hate it when a guy that doesn't have enough conditioning is considered to win something. But in my opinion, the way Samson looks here at the prejudging, his conditioning is enough to win any show if he compensates with other things. And oh boy, he can compensate. Back to this pose. Even though Martin is great, I've got to go with Samson. Back double biceps, and now we can clearly see why Martin is such a dangerous bodybuilder. He's great all around, front, side and back. It shouldn't be any question of who's winning this pose right here. Martin has the bigger and better back, the more complete lower body and most of all the conditioning. Even though Samson was remarkable in this regard for him, Martin is at a whole other level, and considering it's not only conditioning, this becomes the most dominant win in this comparison so far. And it's in favor of Martin. The back lat spread is a little bit different. As we mentioned earlier, Martin needs more lat width, and you can tell that by having him side by side with a wide monster such as Samson Dauda. Now of course, Martin still has the crisp conditioning and the back thickness, but Samson's conditioning is acceptable and I think I like his back more here. It's close. I would still probably go with Martin, but honestly I could very well give this pose to Samson as well. What do you guys think? Who's winning this pose? This is as close as the front double biceps. Either of them could take it. Side triceps is next, and I've got to say I'm very impressed with Samson's side leg here. Just as this picture here is concerned, he beats Martin in the lower body. Now the upper body is close, Martin's look is cleaner with a more defined triceps and a better midsection, but Samson is very imposing with that huge arm, Arnold-esque chest and overall polish. Honestly, I think the only thing still keeping me from giving this pose to Samson clearly is the midsection. Samson always lets his belly too relaxed in this pose. But at a second look, I don't think it looks bad enough to have him losing a pose he looks better overall in. Yes, I do like Samson more here, but it's close. Martin could very well win this pose too, but I'm giving it to Samson. The abs and thighs is a clear win for Martin Fitzwater. We have a good old case of someone having both the better abs and the better thighs. That someone also has the better overall conditioning, so nothing too much to talk about here really. A dominant win for the Martian. He's been the only one scoring dominant wins in this comparison, by the way. The most muscular pose is next, and both look awesome in this crab variation right here. Samson has the extra size. Martin has the extra conditioning. This won't be a pose that will decide this comparison. Personally, I could go with Martin here for the more complete look, but you could never make a completely objective reason why he would win. It's close like some of the other poses. If you give them all to one guy, I mean these closer poses, you could make a narrative for whoever you want. That's why these judges have it easy sometimes, but I digress. Now let me tell you how I see things. The front double biceps, the back lat spread, the side triceps, and the most muscular are 4 poses. Half of the poses that were very close. You could give them to whoever you want to win, and you would be right. You would only need one more pose and you have your narrative. That's bodybuilding judging 101 for you right here. However, if we're talking about the other poses, the front lat spread was a clearer win for Samson, just like the side chest. However, the back double biceps and the abs and thighs were much more dominant wins for Martin. You see where I'm going with this, right? Martin also has the conditioning, the more complete lower body, which is half of the physique after all. I think I would have him leading after this prejudging, but I also know Samson really checks most of today's criteria in bodybuilding, and it wouldn't surprise me if the judges chose him. My final conclusion is that Samson probably won in the eyes of the judges, but personally I would have Martin winning this 2025 Prague Pro prejudging.